Welcome. My name is Dawn Duvall. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and today I'm going to be demonstrating this cute card using the Gangs All Meer, which is a celebration stamp set for January 3rd through March 31st of 2020. And this set you can get for free with any $50 purchase that you make through my online store at ShallWeStamp.com. We're going to be working with several pieces in this. And this is the card that we're going to be making. And of course, I've always liked to decorate the inside of the card. Isn't that cute? So let's go ahead and get started. Now, for time purposes, I have pre-cut most of the items so I wouldn't have to bring the big shot in. We're going to be using a base of Flirty Flamingo, which is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So this will be our base card. And then we're going to have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White cardstock. And then we're using 3 more pieces of Flirty Flamingo, which is measured at, I forgot to measure this one, 3 1/8 by 4 1/2, and that's we're going to put down at an stitched framelits, and this is what we're using to cut out these pieces. This is Granny Apple Green and a piece of Whisper White, and we're using the 4th one from the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the one that we're using to cut. Whoops, I'm sorry, it's the 5th one, pardon me. We're going to use the 5th one just to give it a little bit, since these are going to be showing outside, these are going to give it a little stitched effect, okay? These you can find in my online store as well. And then we're also going to use the stitched circle framelits, or stitch shaped framelits, I should say. And we're using the large circle, and we're cutting out a piece of Flirty Flamingo with that as well. What we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and adhere these pieces. Give me just a second here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and attach this because we can go ahead and knock some of this out now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and attach our base, the Whisper White, to the front of our card, and this is again at 4 by 5 1/4, and we're just going to place that on, leaving a little bit of border. And actually, I think I cut this at 4 by 5 1/8, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and then the next piece that we're going to put down, and I'll put the measurements, a link to the measurements as well. We're going to angle this. I'm going to go ahead and do this one now. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that just to make it a lot easier. This is a really fun card to make. And this stamp set is such a cute one. I'm just going to put it on an angle on the white. However you want to angle it, it's your choice. All right, and the Granny Apple Green, I'm probably going to turn this a little bit at an angle, and then I'm going to put my white on here, and that's probably going to be at an angle as well. So I think I'll go ahead and do my Granny Apple like that. So we'll go ahead and adhere this, and then now we're going to stamp. Let me put him here. Okay, now this piece here, we're going to go ahead and start stamping. Now this one we're going to use the Memento Black ink, and then we're using the cactus, and we're going to stamp that randomly on this piece of paper, cardstock, and I want to make sure that they're going in different directions. So I'm just going to stamp, and it's really whatever your preference is. There's no right or wrong. So I'm just going to stamp several on here, and then we're going to use our blends to color these in. Now some of these aren't going to be seen because they will be covered up, but I want to make sure I get them on here. You know, I want to be able to make sure we see some of these. Little gecko. So let me get the little gecko, and he is on this one. Let me see. Yeah. All right, and the little gecko, we are going to put him, we're going to use the Balmy Blue ink. So we're going to stamp him in Balmy Blue, and then when we get ready to color, then we're going to color him with the Granny Apple Green. And again, I'm just going to stamp him randomly around. So we're just going to put him wherever, you know, we think he might show. I don't know if he'll show down here, but we'll put one there, and we'll put one, I doubt that's going to show. We'll put one there. And then the next stamp we're going to use in this set is birthday hat. It's a cute little birthday hat. Since we're making this a birthday card, now we're going to come back and stamp the hat. I'm going to do him in the blue as well. So we're going to stamp him, and again I'm just going to make sure we've got some that's off the edges that we can see our cats. Let me close up my ink, and then we'll color all of these in. Now I have a scrap of Whisper White right here that we're going to stamp the meerkats on him in Memento Black ink. So, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fussy cut these out, and I'm going to lay this down. Now, anytime you have a stamp that's a little bit bigger, and of course the memento is the linen thread, so it's a little bit harder, you can't squash it. So sometimes it's better just to put your stamp upside down on the table and then use your ink pad to get the ink on there. So we're just going to stamp, I'm just going to stamp this here because it's going to be colored, and then we're going to cut it out by hand. All right, so there's our meerkats. Aren't they cute? I think this is a fun card, and I think any age would appreciate this card. We'll go ahead and we're going to use our Stampin Blends, and for the meerkats we're just going to use the crumb cake. We have a light and a dark shade. The light shade, of course, it's a lighter, and it says it on the side, and you've got a small line here that shows the pencil tip end, and then you have a fatter line which is the brush end, and then the dark. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my pencil size end, the little round tip here, and I'm going to use that because I want to outline, and I want to take and highlight the areas where the artist, you can see where they put like the little lines. So I'm going to go around and shade those, and then we'll come back with a lighter shade and color it in. So I'm just going to take a little bit and go around their heads, and you just want to, you know, take not a lot, and I'm just going to bring it kind of around. And then here I want to make sure I get some there, and I want to go around the head here. So let me just go ahead and do these. And this is fun if you like to color. It's very relaxing. So we're going to put the little coloring here, and I'm just going to go around and make my highlighting, do a little outlining, and then we're going to come back and we're going to blend this all in using the lighter shade. We'll come back, and I'm just going to color in here. Let's see, well, let's go with that for now, and then I can always add more. Now I'm going to come back, and I'm using the smaller tip only because it's a small area, and I'm just going to blend over on top and just blend in. Actually, let me switch and use the fatter tip. So you're just going to come in, and we're just going to blend these colors, and with the bigger tip, you want to be careful that you don't go outside of the lines. We do have a lifter, a color lifter, so we just want to color these in. Now you want to make sure you stay out, not coloring the eyes, because these eyes are really cute. They've left them open. And then we want to color his arm here and get his little hand. So we're just going to blend these in so that we have some markings from what the artist did. So they've done the work for us. So we're just going to keep coloring and blending. And then the more you color, the darker this will get. It's going to keep, whoops, and we don't want to go through his mouth because he's got his teeth open. So that's cute. We're going to leave that white to show his pearly whites. And we'll just come through here. And blending is all about just using the tip of your pen and making sure that you blend the colors. And again, the more you color, the darker it will get. So you have the ability to adjust your shading with your coloring. Now I'm going to come back with the dark, and I'm going to do a little bit more shading. And then when you just do swirls, and it will pull the ink from the areas that you've put the darker down, and it will help to disperse it around. So I just want to leave, and if you don't, you know, you can leave little white spots, like for instance, you could leave an area there like sun might be shining. And when you're blending, it's transferring to the back of your paper, so you have to keep that in mind. So if that's something that's going to be seen by, all right, and then I'm going to take the lighter shade, and I'm just going to color this here. This is going to, probably won't be seen, but we're going to just color it to show that they're in the dirt. This is probably going to be hidden, but just to be on the safe side. Those are the meerkats, and we'll cut those out, and I'll do that off camera, and then I'll come back on. Now these we're going to cut, we're going to color. So I am going to use the Granny Apple Green, the light and the dark, and the same thing with these cactus. I'm going to take the fine tip of the dark, and I'm just going to outline the cactus on the inside where the lines are, just to get some ink down, and then I'll use that for blending. And I may only want to do 2 at one time because I don't want my ink to dry too fast. So I'll come back and I'm going to blend these. Now I can use the bigger tip because we have a lot more space here. So I'm going to use the larger tip and start blending these colors. And you can leave a little white showing to make it look like there's light that's reflecting on it. And blending, you're taking the ink that you've placed down with the dark and you're moving it, so it dispersing it throughout. See, now this one, I like how that's light, but let's see, and this one is too, but let's see, let me just keep coloring this one, because we can just give this one a different shade. Poppy, I said lovely lipstick, it's Poppy Parade, and I'm just going to use the dark color, and I'm just going to color the flowers in the Poppy Parade, the dark granny green, and I'm going to use the small tip, and all I'm going to do is place some dots on these little guys' spots here. I don't think you've ever seen blue geckos, but it's, you know, it's our card, so we can do what we want. And remember, you can purchase all of these items through my online store at shallwestamp.com. Okay, we're good. So that's all the coloring that we're going to do. Okay, now I've cut the mercats out. I fussy cut them with my scissors. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to adhere them onto our piece of Flirty Flamingo. And I'm just going to trim this up just a little bit so that that doesn't show out. We're just going to use our adhesive right here, our snail, and we're going to just place this down. I'm going to put all right, and then now we're ready to, whoopsie, put that back over here. All right, so now we've colored our, move this out of the way. We've colored our of Whisper White here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this at an angle as well. That way all the colors in the corner show of each color cardstock that we're using. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and adhere our, now see how it came through the back? That just shows that I did a lot of blending and coloring, so the ink was saturated and coming through. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put some snail on here. And I'm just going to place this right about like that. I want to have it a little bit more angled. So we're going to put him there. Now the meerkats, we're going to pop up on dimensionals as soon as I can locate them, because we're going to pop the little critters up so they can make everybody feel happy because it's somebody's birthday. And then we're going to place this, I wish I had made this a little bit green, a little bit bigger, because I should have cut this bigger because I would like to have more green showing. So I think I'm going to put them up here, and that will give me a little bit more green. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these off. And one of the things, push your thumbnails down, and this will be a great way that makes it a lot easier to pull these paper coverings off. All right, so in this case, whoopsie, I'm going to put this right about here, and I think that will be fine. We'll leave that little guy so you can see him, and then we can still see some of the green on all four sides. So I'm going to put them there. Now for the sentiment, I went ahead and did this, and what I did is I cut a 3/4 inch piece of basic black cardstock, and I'm going to cut this down, but I used our Versamark ink and white embossing powder. And Versamark ink is a clear ink, so it can look like a watermark, or it's a thick, clingy ink. And so we can put the white embossing powder or any color on top, and then you take a heat gun and it melts the powder, and then you've got the white lettering on the black. So I'm going to put this right here, but I'm going to cut this down because it's too long. So I'm going to cut it, I'm just going to cut angles like that, and then I'm going to cut another angle this way. I think I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Let me see how that looks. I think that will be fine. And we're going to put that up around their legs just a little bit. And we're going to put this, I think we'll just attach this flat. So I'll just put some adhesive on it. All right, we're just going to place that down there. And then there's the front of our card. Isn't that cute? Very quick and easy. You just, you know, fussy cut out around the meerkats and then attach it to our card. Now the last thing that we need to do is we want to decorate the inside of our card, and I've taken a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of Whisper White, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up in the stamp set. There is a single, there's two singles. This little single one looks like he's popping out of the ground, and then there's one here. I'm going to use this little guy, and then I'm going to use the lizard again. So I'm going to stamp them at the bottom of my paper using Memento Black ink. Make sure I get my dots and everything. And I'm going to place them right about here. And then I'm going to place another one next to him. Okay? And then we're going to take the lizard or the gecko, let me find him, and we're going to stamp him. And let's see, what color did I do? Where is my card? Let's see. I think we're going to stamp him. Oh, yeah, we're going to stamp him in black and then color him in green. So we're going to put him right here like he's between the two. Okay? And then we'll go ahead and come back with our markers. And we're going to color these guys in really quick. Make sure it's dry. It should be. All right, so I'm just going to come back with my dark. Make some... Come on. My dog's trying to come in. We'll make our little dark marks here. Come on, push. Come on, Riley. Excuse me, I have to let the dog in. All right, and then I'm going to come back with the light. And again, I'm using a smaller tip because it's a small area. And I'm just going to blend this in. And just do a little blending here. Try to leave the eyes because they've got a little bit of white showing through the eyes. Make sure you cover their little paws that are sticking out of the ground. And then this one, we're going to do the same thing. So we just want to color them. And we can make it a little bit darker if we'd like, but I think I'm going to leave them a little bit lighter shade. Just color them a little bit more. You hear that squeaking? All right, I think that's probably good for now. Okay, and then our lizard, we're going to go ahead and cut. We're going to color him the green. So I'm going to take the dark color, and I'm going to dot his lizard spots again. And we're just going to spot them down there. Okay, and then the last thing we'll do is come back with a lighter shade, and we're just going to do a little blending. Get his little feet in there. Oops, and now look at that. Do you see? I didn't color his feet, so I got to come back and color those. And we're going to color his face. We're going to make him green now, so he's a green lizard out in the desert. All right, so there's that, and then we got to come back and color his paws. Oops, that's the dark. All right, so let's color his paws. All right, and the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to color the dirt. So it looks like they're coming out of the dirt, and just follow the lines that the stamp has created from what the artist has created with this stamp. Okay, so we're just going to bring that out like that. All right, so that's good. Very good. Actually, I'm going to make them a little bit darker, but they kind of do blend in with the dirt, right? So we'll just make him a little bit darker, just so that he stands out from the dirt. And then this one will do the same thing. Aren't these guys so cute? Again, this is through Sale-A-Bration of January 3rd, 2020 through March 31st. And these, you can get this stamp set for free when you make a $50 purchase. You get to choose this item or other items from the Sale-A-Bration catalog. Okay, so we're done with our stamping. We're going to add our adhesive to the back of our inside card. Whoops, let me get that on here. Get some in the corner. And place that down. And there is our beautiful, cute birthday card. Isn't that precious? And it says happy birthday. All right, there you go. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And below in the description, I will have a link to a list of the products that I use to create this card. And if you'd like to purchase those, there will also be a link to my online store. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.